Yep.
Like that?
Yep. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Hey, I've Got an Idea Show. It's me, Luke Lessashamed Williams, and my brother,
Mason, tailsteak, Williams, and folks, you know what time it is.
It's invention time.
No, I was gonna lead into a thing, but okay, it's invention time.
No, it's the thing that you were gonna say. What was the thing?
It's the most wonderful time of the year. Happy holidays, folks. Because if I've done my math correctly, this episode is going to be going live on December 25th. And regardless of what kind of beliefs you may have, what kind of holiday you celebrate this time of year, this is just time to get together and enjoy each other's company, have a little fun, but be safe. Don't eat too much tinsel, and just enjoy what life has to offer. Christmas or Hanukkah or winter solstice, whatever.
So a few things.
Uh-huh.
One, we release our episodes on Thursday.
Uh-huh.
The 25th of December in 2017 falls on a Monday. So
I'm sure they can change that.
I'm inclined to believe that you're telling a fib.
I admit I didn't check the calendar. I just sort of counted in my head.
But you know what that head could use?
Furniture.
Furniture.
Hell yes, I need to put my head on some furniture, then maybe I could count weeks better.
That's what the problem here is.
That's what the problem is I'm over here going like, 7, 14, 21, 35. Oh yeah, I think it's Christmas. And, really, I just need to put my head on an ottoman, but not an ottoman because that's already a thing. I need to just plunk my old cranium down on the new best furniture. Maybe like a hammock that's just for your head that's in the middle of your living room.
Isn't an ottoman like a footrest?
Yeah, it is. Well, I mean, it's also an empire.
Right.
But it's primarily a footrest.
Okay.
But it could be a headrest. Anything is a body part rest if you put that body part on it. So it could be a hand rest. It could be a butt rest. It could be a shoulder blade rest.
Do you remember that children's book that we had with Grover having and his spots?
Refresh my memory, please.
So he had a box full of spots to rest things on, and he would hold them up for you to see in this book. And it'd be like, oh, look, I found my elbow rest. And then you're supposed to, like, the interactive part is like, oh, you got to put your elbow on that spot, and then you do.
I have no memory of this.
Are you kidding me? It was the best. It was the best book.
It sounds pretty rad, but I don't remember putting my elbow on Grover's book.
Okay, so let us break down our objective for inventing furniture.
Okay, so furniture. Here's the question: what is furniture? Like, define furniture.
Furniture is, in my opinion, I'm not looking this up, is a fixed piece of comfortable sitting structure for your bedroom or living room.
Okay, so a couple of problems with that. Is patio furniture not furniture?
Or patio or dining room.
Another problem here, you said sitting, like, is a table not furniture? I guess you can sit on a table, but by that point, it's anarchy. You can sit on anything. You'd be like, oh, I'm going to sit on the dog. And the dog is now furniture. Come here, furniture. Good boy, furniture.
I've invented the dog. So,
if we invent dogs like shit, our podcast is very good.
It is very good because dogs are good.
They're good dogs, Luke.
Except, here's the thing. I gotta be honest, I was a little, even though I know I suggested this, I was a little worried about furniture because I was thinking in the chair mindset of like sitting on like how much do you improve a chair?
Like, I think that's what we need, like something at head height where you can just sort of like, you're in the middle of standing in the middle of your room and you just like, I kind of want to lean right now, but I can't. Oh wait, here's my head hammock, and you just sort of like boonk, like a trust exercise. You just put the back of your head on there, and you just sort of lean like maybe 5 or 10 degrees back.
But if you do that just for your head, that doesn't do much for the rest of your body, and it would probably get pretty frustrating pretty fast because like you can't.
Also, it would have to be attuned to your height.
You can't relax too much, or you just sort of snap your neck.
No, you gotta lock the knees.
What I'm thinking,
and most of the rest of you.
What I'm thinking you're actually wanting and suggesting is just like a full-size pitchback in your room that you could just like lean on, and then it is like a hammock for your body, but in lean form. In lean mode.
So it's a hammock, but it's on an angle. So it's
sure.
like an inclined net.
Sure.
I could get into an inclined net.
Except that's not what I want to design at all. Where I was going with what I was saying was, I love dining. I love food and meals.
I hate food and meals. Opposites attract.
That's how we do.
Scat cat of this relationship.
That's how we do.
Food, and I love dying of starvation.
That's how we do this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We try to contrast on everything we possibly talk about. Just throwing this one out there. Orange, great color.
No, I prefer blue.
What a wild world.
You take 2 steps forward, I take 1 step back, and we stick together.
And then I continue my progress, and you just hinder me?
and I'm MC Scat Cat, and I'm alone in an alley, and I don't have a career, whereas you are Paula Abdul.
Cool. Sounds good.
Are you Paula Abdul? She's the one who sang... I can remember the name of MC Scat Cat, but I can't remember whether or not that was Paula Abdul. Please tell me it was Paula Abdul.
I have no recollection of what you're speaking of.
Whitney Houston and MC Scat Cat.
That's probably it. But I wanted a table.
You wanted a table.
I want a table, Mason.
You want a periodic table.
Mason, no, I don't. That's not the table I want. Mason, I want a table.
Times table.
Mason.
Yes.
I want a table.
Okay. All right. So here's my thing. You know what's really great and convenient is the Lazy Susan.
You're right.
So, whole table Lazy Susans. And not just the one. Like, Lazy Susans within Lazy Susans. Like an orrery.
Ooh, now there's one little hang up here. A good number of Chinese restaurants have large-scale Lazy Susans that take up about 75% of the table.
Okay.
So that's kind of already a thing.
The time we went to like Niagara Falls and we were in the rotating restaurant, and I asked you to ask me to pass you the salt. This is a true story. I'm gonna actually provide some context for the 2 people who don't remember this.
Oh God!
We were at Niagara Falls. And there's a restaurant that rotates and you get like the view of the falls no matter where you are. And our food hadn't arrived yet. And I just look Luke dead in the eye and I say, "Hey Luke, ask me to pass you the salt." And you're like, why would I need the salt? I don't have any food. Also, it's equidistant from both of us. And I was like, just ask me to pass you the salt. And you were like, okay, fine, pass me the salt. And I picked up the salt, and I reached over and I put it on the windowsill. And over the course of like 2 minutes, it traveled to you. And then you picked it up and put it back on the table.
Was it 2 minutes? That seems fast for the entire restaurant to spin around 360.
Well, I mean, we didn't complete an orbit.
Oh, right. I remember. Yeah, you're talking about... Yeah, you passed it on the... Okay. I remember. Okay, cool. Because if it was a complete orbit, that would have been a long game.
Also, it opens up the possibility of someone else stealing our salt.
Yeah, someone else being like, oh, good, extra salt.
So now I've got 2 salt shakers.
Okay, so let's do a table.
Yes, okay.
Because so fuck chairs. We already kind of did a chair with... No, we didn't. I was going to reference something else we talked about, but we didn't.
We made a superhero who generates a couch. That's not the same thing.
We also... Okay. Yeah, we did a bunch of other things that were not that. Anyway, moving on.
Okay, so table, and we don't want rotations. We don't want lazy Susans. Lazy Susan, she's just too lazy. What we do want is little ramps and tunnels underneath the surface of the table so you can pass something under the table from you to someone else.
Okay, close. I have one better for you.
Model trains. Under the table.
You don't really need to do a lot of passing between people, especially if it's one table.
Okay.
That method, I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. That method's already pretty well established that you can just sort of like hand it to the person or down a chain of people and then it goes to the person. You don't need to like make it more intricate.
Okay. All right. So what's your thing? What makes this something other than a flat surface, which is already an invention?
Here's the thing I like.
Someone else already invented flatness.
I like a table that is also got a big indent in the middle. It's nice and wide so that it's not awkward for the eating space. Mm-hmm. But then dead center down the middle in a big line, you got a trough. And it's ramped down into a big old hole. Uh-huh. And then if you're having something like, Lobster Fest dinner, you done with those shells? No worries. Just huck them forward.
I thought you were, when you said, like, if you're having something like, and I was going to say, like, an upset tummy and you need to puke.
I mean, arguably, if you were going to puke at the table, that's a pretty ideal scenario, but also ideal going away from the table. So
it has a pre-carved puke trough for you.
Yeah, that's very Greek. Was it Greek or was it the Romans? It was the Romans that had the vomitoriums.
Yeah. I like vomiting.
No.
Can we just
have
a vomitorium table?
No.
With like a privacy shroud.
Mason.
So that nobody has to watch you do it.
Mason.
And like you don't have to use your finger. They have like a little probe that's right there. It goes right down your throat.
Mason.
And then it all goes into the central trough.
I'm saying your name.
Table and
you should respond.
Away.
You should respond to the name that I'm saying. That's yours.
Well, I mean, I'm just like inventing the best thing.
Mason, would you agree? Just humbly listen to me for 1 second. Okay. Would you agree that having you as a brother requires a certain amount of tolerance for weird things?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I want you to just put yourself in my shoes for 2 seconds.
Okay. All right. I don't think I'll fit, but
I want you to imagine that you were just sharing a podcast space with your dear brother whom you love.
Right.
And he says, "I love to vomit." and I want you to sort of try and understand the position that puts me in.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like vor fetish, but backwards.
I'm covering my head with my hands. How did we go from designing a table to this?
Well, I mean, there's a limited number of things you can do with a table, right? I mean,
Not true.
You eat on the table.
Not
you play
true.
board games on the table.
Okay, let's
you vomit onto the table.
No,
like that's,
you do not. Options. There is already a fixture that is ideal for vomiting. That is like ideally you're always able to get to in time.
Which is the thing we previously invented, which is a 6-story bungee drop.
Yes, obviously. That's perfect.
Where you should vomit. Yeah, okay. All right.
So the board game...
Your table has something just for undigested, like, lobster bits and
you know what?
shells.
You know what? I know the direction I want to take this in. I'm gonna steer this ship a little because it is just trying to go off the falls. And
you don't want it to go off Vomit Falls on the one side, or to be ensnared by, the lazy Susan Charybdis on the other side.
Correct. That is exactly what I want.
Susan Charybdis is an amazing name. I'm going to use that as my alter ego now whenever I need to fake my identity. Hi, I'm Susan Charybdis. I'm very lazy.
Okay. So, here's how we meet halfway on this one. You have experimented with food a little bit from now and again. You've done some cooking experiments, baking experiments.
It's more like my life is an experiment, and some parts of that life are eaten.
Yeah, some parts are you need to sustain your existence with nutrients, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But would you say it's safe to say that I've done a little bit more of that?
I would say that is fair, yes.
All right.
You have experimented with cooking more than I have. You also have experimented with throwing axes more than I have.
This is also true. And, yeah, that's awesome.
My man throws axes.
I could rant about how awesome it is right now, but I won't.
Don't throw axes into the table. We need to finish inventing it first.
I'm ambivalent to that. But no, you have gamed more, whether it be through games of someone else's design or your own. I would. Yeah. Would you actually say that you have gamed more with games of your own design than that of others?
It depends on how you define gamed more. If we're talking total play time, no, I've played Pathfinder and D&D far more than games of my own design. But if we're counting number of different sorts of games, I would say I have played more games of my own design or games of other people's design that I have perverted to my own dark ends more than I have straight up played normal games. Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw this one out there. That's kind of awesome. That's pretty cool.
It's how I roll.
Yeah. Oh! I see what you did.
Yeah.
I see what you did.
Okay, so our problem here is this table that you've invented or half invented thus far, which is a regular table with just a trough for lobster shells. That's problematic. You can't game on that shit. You roll your D20, it goes down the trough. It's gone. It's down the garbage disposal.
Yeah, and you're like, oh shit,
up with the lobster shells.
It's like, oh shoot, that was a really important roll. You gotta read it from where it lies, and then you jump in head first into the lobster trough, and you hurt yourself on the shells
very badly. Yes,
just trying to discern the outcome of that story.
And the problem is you're wedged down in there, and you're like, it's a 16, and they're like, bullshit, we can't see you, so we think you're lying about that will save.
And your legs are flailing in the air, and you look like quite the buffoon.
Quite the buffoon indeed, sir.
And then you can't breathe, and you die.
And you become, in a sense, your own food waste. And possibly, while in the death throes, you vomit.
Oh, no.
That's bad.
I'm going to throw this one out there. I think we took that one a little further than we needed to.
I disagree. I respectfully disagree. Continue.
You're right. That is one element that wouldn't work. But I want to just, throw this. I'm going to take this volley back over into your side of the court. Right. I want to know from your vantage point, what would be the ideal gaming table?
The ideal gaming table. Well, it'd have like a little lip around the end, so you never roll your dice off the edge of the table.
Okay. So sort of, isn't that like a poker thing?
No.
There's some sort of table that has that design already intentionally.
I don't think it's poker. Like, I can't imagine a scenario in which your cards would roll off of the table.
No, it's the chips.
You're very rarely rolling the chips either. Like, you don't roll them to each other. It's like, oh, you won 3 of my chips. Roll, roll, roll.
You know what? I think that our mutual lack of time spent in a casino is showing right now. So let's just kind of move along.
Okay. So, yes, I want the lip around the edge so we don't roll dice off. Either that or have little recessed pits specifically for rolling into. Okay. I want something where I can store my character sheets. I would need to have like a space in the center for like a grid map where I can say, oh, here's my character and he's moving in this direction and that direction. Fuck, yes. I want an overhead projector to be able to project maps down onto the surface of the table.
Shit, yeah. That's rad as hell.
Hell yes, it is. And also, like, you can do, like, little picture-in-picture things. So if you want to have, off to the side, a little window and be like, oh, here's this character you're talking to. Hey, check him out. He's one tough customer.
Right.
Also, can we just do, like, the hollow chess thing that they had in Star Wars, where, like, R2-D2 was playing weird wrestling claymation monster chess with Chewbacca, and then it's like, oh, let the Wookiee win or he'll rip your arms off, and R2-D2's like, I don't have any arms to rip off, so whatever.
That is a pretty strong counter. But, okay, but define specifically what you were talking about, a hollow chest?
No, hollow chess.
Hollow chess. Oh, that makes much more sense.
I don't know how that game is played, but it was like claymation monsters. And
okay, so ideally you're talking about like 3-dimensional
or
holograms.
More. We can go more than 3, but yes. I basically want the technology that exists in every single movie but doesn't actually exist in the real world, where you can just project 3D holograms into 3-dimensional space without any sort of visible apparatus.
Well, I'm going to be honest.
If we could get one of those, that'd be good.
I'm going to be honest with you about something. Normally, I would say, sure, we could do that. We could, of course. Like, that's hard. Throw a little hologram in there. But I'm kind of legitimately excited for the prospect of designing something really awesome now. So, maybe let's just sort of keep it to the 2D projections for now. And then if technology changes by the time something like this could actually be built in our lives, maybe we, scale it in that direction.
Okay.
But for right now, let's just sort of keep it on that flat surface, and then animated GIFs and stuff are totally fair game.
Okay. Also, all around the table, like for each place where you're sitting at the table, I want little drawers. So I can stash my shit there between sessions.
Yeah. So everything can just sort of in case it's even a little bit precarious or, you just sort of pick it up, put it in, close the drawer.
And I want those drawers to be watertight or at least water resistant so I can vomit into them.
Okay. You were doing so well. There wasn't a need to bring vomit back into this equation. I hope you understand that.
Well, I mean, I failed a fort save.
You can fail a fort save 6 feet from the table to the closest bathroom.
I don't know, man.
Okay. Here's obvious, like, this is going in a very predictable direction at this point. I would love to design a night where you and I could have a gaming and dining sesh where the food doesn't interfere with the games.
Gotta keep that separated.
And possibly could be introduced into the game.
Okay, so I put my chicken drumstick on the map, and I'm like, now you have to fight this. Well, Mr. Gobbles, he's necromantic. It's a giant animated drumstick.
You are definitely thinking in a very basic sort of sense. I'm talking about, I'm off in the kitchen experimenting. I'm designing canapes and hors d'oeuvres, the likes of which you have never tasted and are delectable looking and smelling, and you look at it and it's like, oh my god, what even is that? I gotta put that in my mouth, but you gotta win the game in order to get at it. So I need you to also help design the game that incentivizes that.
Okay, like I have played in D&D sessions where to represent the mobs, we just put down like candy or like meatballs or sushi. And it's like
you put down meatballs on the field?
Yeah, like anything, man. As long as it's like fits within a 1-inch square that represents 5 feet, or in the case of the sushi, it's like 2 inches by 2 inches, and therefore it's a large size creature.
So is that the kind of thing where like the warrior is like picking off one or two at a time and popping them in their mouth, but then like the wizard in the back does like a area of effect spell and takes out like 15, and then it's like, all right, these are mine.
Gotta eat them. Although you can like choose to share with somebody else if they previously damaged that foe. Okay, you loosened the jar for me. Okay. Go ahead. Have the spoils of war. Share in the spoils of war.
That's actually really, really exciting. Like, I'm not going to lie. I would.
You know what's really exciting is the one time we did it with shots.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yes.
I imagine the inherent math that comes along with the odd character sheet that got a little bit harder as you went.
You'd be surprised. I can do math pretty damn well when I'm drunk.
Cool. All right.
I can even count to, weeks of sevens and figure out when Christmas is.
Yeah, you could almost do that thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, here's a few things that are coming to mind, just because I'm liking the theatrics of this.
Okay.
One is, I haven't disclosed this much yet, and we are like barely designing furniture at this point, but I don't give a shit. I adore the concept of little ceramic pedestal, which is like you pick it up from the base and you like do a snap towards the mouth, and the thing on top of the pedestal stays intact and transplants into your mouth. Like, what?
Okay, hang on. You adore the concept of a ceramic pedestal, like a little pillar.
Yes.
That you tilt and like snap it towards your mouth to whip food into your mouth.
Yes, I'm not talking about like a shot glass. I'm not talking about you touching the food. I'm talking about you touching the platform.
Okay, so it's just like a little guy, and that one little guy is the enemy, and you like tip the canapé into your mouth, and you're like, "Oh, Mr. Bugbear, you thought you were so tough. Now you're in my belly."
Exactly. And you could move, even if the thing is a little saucy, or not conducive to a nice flat gaming surface. If it's elevated on that pedestal, you shoot it back. You keep the pedestal. You've done, it's all good. I adore that concept and aesthetic before we were talking about it being within a game. So that's cool.
Okay.
Here's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
I love the idea of levels. Of, when you see the in Star Trek, not Star Wars,
right.
when you see the chess that's happening on like 3 levels and stuff like that.
Yeah, multi-dimensional chess that like Spock will play.
Yeah. I love the idea of a battle taking place on multiple planes and having something suspended from the ceiling or something like that, and having like a sky realm, or whether not even a realm, but just like something in the clouds, something up above, and then like stuff gets placed up there too, and you have to sort of reach around and get the different things from different spots in the air as well.
Okay.
Or even like, the ground level and the second floor or stuff like that. I'm into that.
Okay, so the problem there is you can go up, but you can't really go down. You can't have like a basement underneath the surface of the table.
Yeah, not without going under the table.
Put food on the floor.
Yeah,
and that's where the lobster tails and the puke go. So that's no good.
I love that your concept of our inventions is always this cumulative thing, so that there's just still lobster shells and vomit on the floor until that specifically goes away. It is still there.
Well, I'm basically keeping the minutes, okay? Like, I'm the one who remembers what we do. I establish continuity.
What say you? Like, what game would you design around a concept where I'm putting food in at every level?
Okay.
And here's another thing too. I didn't even touch on this yet. I love the idea of it being like, okay, you want to eat that. That one looks really good. Oh, you got to get that enemy. That one looks pretty cool too. But then there's other ones that you have to kill that you don't want to eat. But you have to.
And it's like, oh, well, you got to make the call. You got to destroy the drow, or your character's going to die. And your character has valid RP reasons to want to kill the drow. But that's mushrooms, and you're allergic to mushrooms, and if you eat them, you will die in real life.
Instead of an actual death, I was thinking like, like habanero black licorice, salt lick. I don't know. Like something that's just very... I know that you and I can eat anything. I'm talking about anybody else that we invite to this party.
The weaker specimens out there who can't eat everything, yes.
Right. And believe me, it does, like, I appreciate the challenge of designing anything that is, like, unpalatable. That is very fun for me.
You should work for Jelly Belly. Remember when they had those Birdie Bots mystery flavored beans, like the Harry Potter, and it's like, this one tastes like lawn clippings. They should like have a version of that that's like just all garbage. Like you don't have to worry about whether or not it's going to be bad because it will be bad.
I actually got to visit a flavor chemist really quickly for like an hour or so, and I got to sort of tour around and smell the different things and taste a couple of things. And like fresh green, like lawn clippings, like that's one specific chemical. I believe it's anytime they do that, it's like chlora something, and it's anyway. Back on point.
Right.
So
you want a game that goes with all this stuff? I've got a game for you. It's a full persistent world RP. There's characters, there's levels. It's like the tabletop RP version of the classic game Burger Time. You form your party of chefs, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And you live in the Burger Time universe, and you have to assemble these burgers so you can eat them. But there's things that you don't want getting on the burger, so you have to attack them and eat them, and like it'll still be like good stuff, just not stuff you want on your burger. So as you're going, you're fighting and killing like, oh, chocolate sauce, I don't want that on my burger, but if I shoot it with my flaming arrow, then now you're dead, chocolate sauce, and you pick up a little shot glass of chocolate sauce and you just slam that back.
Okay. So we're actually talking about like if you succeed as a party, then
you have burgers.
Then you have burgers, and these
At
things
the
get
end.
formed into nice, lovely, palatable constructions.
But if you don't manage to kill the chocolate sauce demon, then it does go on your burger, but you still have to eat it.
Yeah, so it's like you killed it, but guess what?
At what cost?
Yeah. Now, chocolate sauce is kind of easy. I'm thinking like sardines and like.
Well, now here's the issue: sardines on a burger? Hell yes.
I think chocolate sauce is easy on a burger. You think sardines are easy on a burger?
Oh, okay, not together, but I can envision a sardine burger. I can envision a chocolate burger.
Right.
Like chocolate and ground beef is actually surprisingly.
And just throwing this one out there, high in fat, but peanut butter on a burger? Holy shit.
Oh fuck yes, fuck me, peanut butter on a burger, absolutely.
Yeah.
You kidding me? Peanut butter and bacon? Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, I don't know what direction to take this in next because we're not designing furniture anymore, but I still don't care. What else do you want for this?
Okay. You want to know what problem is when you're like tabletop gaming is like when there's like a disruption to the table and like everything gets all knocked around. You're like, oh shit, where was everything? So what I want is they have those like earthquake stabilizers. I want that on every leg of this table.
So this whole table's on shocks.
Yes, it's on shocks. So like the dog runs into the room and it's like, no, Fluffy, you don't get these burgers. These are people burgers, and they're also minotaurs. But Fluffy sort of arf, arf, and bumps the table. You're fine because it doesn't jostle.
Okay, I'm. I like that. That's cute. I'm also just kind of over the furniture design thing. I just kind of want to talk about this game now. So,
I'm trying to bring it back. Like I don't know.
I acknowledge that. And there's a time and a place for that. But
yeah, it's now. It's the podcast that we're on.
No, I'm aware.
Kind of contractually obligated to do the thing we said we were going to do.
I'm aware, but Mason, like legit, like we're talking about edible gameplay. Can we please get back to that?
Okay, as long as I can reincorporate the vomit.
No, you don't need to do.
That's like you lose your game.
Okay, I mean, I guess technically we're talking about a very vomit sensitive scenario. However,
more so than the inclined hammock.
Yes,
you
more
don't want
so
to
than
vomit
that.
in an inclined hammock; it just goes right through it.
Yeah, that is true. But no, I'm just like the vomit can still. Okay, the vomit is still true. It's still around in all of us. Fully capable of rearing its ugly head.
Just coming right on out. Yeah.
Yeah, but also, oh look, it's a garbage can right beside the table. Cool, we don't need to talk about it anymore. All right. So do you want to do burgers all the time, or can we kind of switch that up?
No, we can switch it up. Like burgers one day, and then the next day, pasta, and like you have to choose your pasta, choose your sauce, and like you want mushrooms, do you want meatballs, do you want like grilled zucchini, do you want cheeses, parmesan, say when, and then like the parmesan just starts grating and it doesn't stop until you defeat the wizard. So as you're going, like if you don't defeat the wizard, your pasta just gets buried.
Your pasta is ruined if this wizard fight takes too long.
Yeah, you gotta take that punk out.
Yeah. I like the idea of it being a little bit thematic, that like if the warfare was suddenly not fantasy, if it was like based on like colonial Japan, then suddenly it's more sushi themed, and
sure.
Like the pasta stuff could be again, if you wanted to go a historic route, could be based around ancient Rome.
Or like it's like you go to India and it's all curry and you're fighting like Rakshasa.
Sure. If we go into just like American world wars than just hardtack.
I love your approach to history. Okay, now here's the question: sci-fi game. What kind of food are they going to eat in the future?
Oh, Mason, you're touching a very special place in my heart.
Is it all like fusion cuisine, molecular gastronomy? Eat this like snow pea foam that I made.
I need you to understand that.
Shoot it with a laser for some reason.
I need you to understand that. I guess we might have touched on this before when we were talking about that that sci-fi movie. What was it? The Stallone one.
Demolition Man.
Demolition Man, that's one.
Every restaurant is Taco Bell. Yeah.
Right. But I sort of touched on the fact that like designing sci-fi food would be like my favorite thing ever. That's yes. Can we do that like, soon? Like I want to just do that.
Okay, the problem with doing food now is then by definition it's not future food.
You're right. It is pretty much dated from when I make it.
Yeah. Like, you keep that around for even a day, and it's not going to be as good the next day, let alone 100 years in the future. That's just outside of the window of probability there. That's past your best before.
You know how there's the soup du jour?
Uh-huh.
I always figured that the soup of...
Soup of tomorrow.
No, well, like this, like yesterday's soup was actually like better.
Okay.
Because some soups do get better, on the second or third day. So it's like, why are we focusing on the soup du jour? It should be the soup de yesterday. I forget the word.
And fish. We could have the catch of the yesterday.
That one maybe a little less so, but probably still, why not? I don't know. Sure. This wine is good.
And like wine, you don't want the wine of the day. That's just grape juice.
Yeah. Damn, this isn't furniture, is it?
It's really not. Like, I don't know where you're going. It's come back to me, Luke.
Okay.
Come back to me here where the furniture is.
Okay.
I need you to come with me to Furniture Land.
Okay. Let's design the optimal structure for this table, both for food and for gameplay.
Okay, I got it. In the first X-Men movie, when for no reason they're doing a simulation of how their Magneto's going to have a blast go out from the Statue of Liberty, and they show their approach vector with the Blackbird, and the way that they did it was like they had a table and it had all the little pillars come up, and it was like that sort of pin thing where you push your face into it and you get the contour of the pins, but it's like a whole table. Can we do that and get different elevations that way? So I can like load in the terrain and the surface of the table will morph.
I think I do. I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but I can picture it. And so, I mean, can we do that? Is technology actually there now? I feel like it probably is. I mean, yeah, there was stuff like that with.
The problem is like like you have one little pin that malfunctions and it just shoots up with pneumatic force and launches your sushi into the ceiling.
Here's what I like about this. I love the concept of a table that is like, okay, we're running this program, and then it makes a new shape that is furniture in your house.
Morphs the table for you.
That is so fucking cool. It's not even fair.
Rad as hell.
It is not fair that costs thousands of dollars with our current technology and is totally inaccessible to the average person. Because creative...
I mean, we always in this podcast sort of aim for the luxury market, so I don't think we need to worry about that.
No, I acknowledge that, but we're talking
this is the
about
table
something
that Elon Musk role plays on.
I acknowledge that
He
we're
calls
also
up his buddy Mark Zuckerberg, and he's like, "Hey Zuck, come on, we're doing D&D night."
come on over. We're doing this.
We're doing
luxury D&D.
Luxury food D&D. I'll have my manservant Jeffrey create minotaurs for us.
Yes,
3D printed out of chocolate.
My dice are made of gold and more gold. So
also, they're 3 feet in diameter. They're very difficult to roll, but they're incredibly expensive.
Very heavy. I really hate them.
There are so many dents in the foundation of my house from attempting to roll my 1.5 ton gold D20 that falls through the floor and hits the basement.
It's such soft metal that every time I roll it, it changes shape and rolls way worse.
I need to reforge my dice, Zuck.
Yes, I need to reforge my dice for our next session.
Jeffrey, fresh dice.
But okay,
and Jeffrey rolls them in on a dolly.
That table that could just make elevations.
Yes.
Is so damn cool. And so almost a thing. It's just super frustrating to talk about because it's like, man, can we do that thing? We can't yet, right? Could we almost, though?
I'm pretty sure, when did the first X-Men movie come out? That was 2000, right?
Okay, hold up. I think I've got the cheap version.
Okay.
Obviously, much more rudimentary. You don't have slopes that are, gradual. You don't have curves. But if you had a bunch of poles that were either adjustable height or to a bunch of set heights, and you just sort of a lot of poles of different heights.
I love poles.
And you just sort of they're all rectangular prisms. You bunch them together. You're like, okay, I'm gonna put 20 16s over in this corner. And then there are going to be some 8s lining here. And then there are some 4s over here. And then a little hill over here. That's going to be some more 20s over here.
Okay, so you can't really swap them out on the fly. But you, the GM, are like, okay, I'm going to lay out the terrain.
Right.
And then you just, arrange it like Lego. And then you put the food down on top of it.
Right. You arrange the terrain. And then you just sort of, bind them all together. Just wrap a belt around it. Like a big-ass belt. And
no, it's a grid. It's a grid. So each one sort of slots in it's squares, right? So you're like,
well, yeah, but then we're not talking about furniture. We're talking about a small grid. I was talking about somewhere in between where it's massive in size, so it could be the table, but it's not really a comfortable table if we're talking about a lot of variation in elevation.
Yeah, no, you couldn't, fuck on it. What are you talking about?
Well, no, okay, even the X-Men table, you can't sit comfortably at that table and then
they didn't fuck on that table either. They just used it to simulate Magneto sending out a blast of energy from the Statue of Liberty and then show the Blackbird's approach vector. It was completely I don't know why they even had that there, but it was cool. You could have done that with a whiteboard, but they chose to have a table that did this.
I guess the thing that I'm sort of hung up on is that, yes, that's a cool scenario table. It is not a good eating table or a comfortable table to just sit at because suddenly...
you spill anything in between two of the pillars, you're done. You got to spend the next hour cleaning that out.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, do we have...
I'm just picturing Professor X and he's just like, Logan... We're detailing a scenario at the pushpin, the thing that you put your face into, table. Could you please not eat chili? And Logan's like, I'm being careful. I'm not going to spill. It's like, you said that last time, Logan.
Yeah. He just comes over with his milkshake. And then... it's fucking forgot my claws opened it up. And now it's all down.
He's the bad boy of the group.
What a bad boy, that guy.
And Scott Summers, Cyclops, is like a prick. And he's like, Logan, you're being irresponsible. I have to exist in contrast to you.
You should be more responsible like me, the Cyclops.
Like me, the Cyclops, who routinely destroys fucking landmarks with my eyeballs.
So is this a table yet?
Yes. We've invented X-Men.
We did it. We made X-Men. We did it, guys. I'm made glad. It.
Good. We did the thing, and we couldn't have done it without Squarespace.
Good furniture.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to tell you about Squarespace.
Yeah, tell them about the furniture promotion. The furniture.
Yeah, no, furniture from Squarespace is great. I mean, it is square. It will fit in your space, though. So if you have a room that's perfectly square, this furniture is the greatest thing for you. They got chairs, they got ottomans. They do have gaming tables, not with all the functionality that we've described today. But if you head on over to Squarespace, now that's spelled differently, but you'll figure it out. You can have a special deal to obtain perfectly square furniture.
It's spelled differently, like it's got a 5 instead of an S?
No, it's like SKWEH capital R hyphen.
That is pretty different.
SP, another P, another P, another P, ACE.
I'm not adding anything in at this point. I'm just kind of like hands behind my head.
Uh-huh.
Yep, go ahead. No.
And you could just go to that website and they will give you perfectly square furniture 50% off. Thank you, Squarespace, for sponsoring this podcast. We love you, Squarespace. It's legitimate that they do that.
Why don't you go into the next thing, the social thing? I want to see how close you get with that one.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening to Hey, I've Got an Idea, the show. You can check us out at higaishow.net.
God damn it, so close.
Yeah, and you can listen to this thing you're listening to right now. If you didn't know that, I don't know how you're listening to it now. Also, you can tweet at us, which is twitter.com/higai show.net. Or you could tweet directly at Luke, which is twitter.com/lessashamed.net, or myself, which is twitter.com/tailsteak.net. Also, you could email us. I'm not going to tell you what our email addresses are. You can guess.
Just guess.
You could rate us on iTunes or any other kind of tunes. And you can also do other things. You can mail us things in the mail. You can write our names on your house.
You know what? You're right. You can write your names. You can write our names on your house.
Draw pictures of what you think we look like when we're recording and put them on DeviantArt.
Why not?
Tumblr. Or Fur Affinity. Or FetLife. The sky's the limit. Draw whatever you think we look like. I'll give you a hint. Not wearing pants. And just go ahead and put those pictures everywhere.
Why not even just posters on the nearby telephone poles?
Yeah. Have you seen this podcast? And it looks like us. And you think for a second it's missing child, but then you look down further and it's like, oh, you should check them out at higaishow.org, and then have like the little tear-off strips down below, and each one has a different URL, but one of them's right.
So like they think it's a missing child poster, but then the image is like two gross men without pants, and it's actually like makes them worried that it's like, have you seen your child go missing around these guys?
Have you seen your child go missing? These two perverts probably ate them.
So anyway, that was a good go. We almost sort of made furniture, but yes. I don't know. The conversation was entertaining. Mason, if I recall correctly, it's your turn to pick a thing.
It's my turn. I love that it's my turn. I can do it.
Yeah. What you want to do?
Okay. Well,
anything you want.
Next week, we're going to invent. Well, you know what? I was inspired by all this wonderful talk about vomit. which is my fetish. And if we could invent a new holiday.
Oh, God. The old bait and switch. You reel them in with the vomit talk.
Yep.
But then you switch over to holiday. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
No, the holidays are upon us by one way or another,
possibly.
whether it's December or not. We're just going to make a new one. We're going to put it right there.
The holidays are upon us eventually.
The holidays come to us all like the grim specter of death. Sooner or later, the holidays will come for you.
Folks, thanks for listening.
Yes.
That next week will be we invent a new holiday.
Yes.
As
Brought
always,
to you by Squarespace.
It's a pleasure.
Yes.
And suck Grimace's dick. I don't know. I want to take it away from you.
You said it. You said my thing.
Yeah, I was thinking about an outcome that wouldn't bring you happiness, and that was the best I had.
No, I'm very happy. I love when one or more of us says to suck Grimace's dick. And now we can both say it. Suck Grimace's dick, everybody.
Yeah, that thing.
Yay!
Okay, bye.
I love you.
Yep. Yep.
Like that?
Yep.